on through the highways, and on we'll go.
Hello everyone and welcome to this video. So today we're going to talk about the updated UI that we're going to get at the end of this month. There's honestly so many things that I want to say about it, so I thought that I would just make a video about this because obviously there's two other topics that I guess kind of fall under the same umbrella as this that I also want to talk about, which are the updated characters and horse bonding, but I feel like all of these topics are quite vast, so I wanted to make separate videos for all of them. So first we're just gonna check the new UI, how everything will look. Then I'm just gonna talk about what I think about it, and after that I'm gonna see what other people thought about it. I feel like when I put other people's opinions, like their comments and stuff in my videos, I always just choose random Instagram or Reddit comments, but today I did actually go take a look at your guys' comments under the video that I made where I also talked about the new UI, so you can say it that I never include you. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you do, make sure to subscribe, it really means a lot. And now let's get into it. So I talked about the changes that are gonna come to SSO a few days ago, or has been a few weeks, and I just said that I hate it, and there were so many people that I guess kind of shared my opinion, but also some that didn't. Okay, and just a disclaimer, if you like the new UI, that's great. Honestly, I'm jealous. I wish I liked it, and I don't remember which video I said it in, but if you seriously like it, it really shouldn't matter what other people say. I feel like this is kind of the same as, I really like old horse models, and anytime I talk about them or if I post a video about them, I get a few comments saying that they look horrible and stuff, and you know what, it doesn't matter. A really important thing to learn is that some people are just not gonna agree with you, but as long as you stay respectful and don't try to impose your views and your opinions on other people, everything's gonna be fine. But now let's take a look at how everything's gonna look like. Okay, so I'm gonna take a look at this video. It was posted by Luna Silver Lion, and I guess I'm just gonna talk about why I dislike the new UI. And the first reason is because it's so different. It does not look like our current UI in the slightest. I can't find any segment that would be even a little bit similar. I guess the map is the only thing, but that's just because, they wouldn't change the map, they wouldn't make it a different color or something. Okay, I was editing this video and this part was just, I was so annoying, and I recorded this part for around 10 minutes and it was just one big hole of nothing. There were some parts where I did say something interesting, but I thought that I would just kind of summarize it while I guess show you on screen how everything is gonna look. As I said, the first thing that really bothers me is just how much different this is gonna be. Even if it looked really nice, honestly, it would still take some time to adjust, but now that I dislike it, it's just gonna be so much harder. The second point that I kind of want to focus on is inaccessibility. Before I read all of the comments that are gonna be towards the end of the video, I was just thinking mostly about people who are visually impaired, but one of the comments that I was reading pointed out something very important, which is, I'm not sure how to say it, but people that don't have the most stable hands, because all of the icons are so small, and for the most part you have to hover over them. So for example, if you want to see your character name and how much XP you have to hover over that little circle in the upper left corner. If you want to open the backpack, obviously you can use hotkeys, even now sometimes I use hotkeys, sometimes I just click on the icon, but I think it's still pretty unfair to say, well, if you can't click on it, just use hotkeys. I don't know. So I hope that at the very least SSO makes it the same as they made it now, where you can choose between at least 3 sizes, though I feel like they should kind of put the smallest one away I feel like it is really extremely small and don't know how many people play with that. I feel like they should definitely focus on the medium that they gave us now and put something in between, like the medium and the biggest size. The big looks very large and then the medium looks kind of alright, but I feel like they should focus on making something in the middle of those two. The other thing is obviously them just catering to the mobile market. You cannot tell me that this does not look so much like a mobile game. Obviously, a lot of other games have a UI similar to this one, but with how SSO changed the horse buying screen, the club screen, things like that, SSO is just losing its core like style, colors, all of that. And I think the least they could have done is like kept the colors like somewhat. Now we have this really bright blue and yellow colors throughout the user interface, but they just went with this dark blue, gray colors that just look completely different. And I feel like since they're catering so much to a child audience, I would guess that they would want to make this new user interface very bright and all of that. But since at the same time they're also catering to the mobile gaming market, I guess it does make sense. But I'm still annoyed by it. And I think this is kind of it. I'm not sure if I talked about anything else during this rambling that I made. And I'm pretty sure by now you've seen everything on screen. This UI just isn't true to SSO's old style. It is very inaccessible. It has such dull colors and it feels so lifeless and corporate. I just hate it, but yeah, let me know if you actually like it. As I said at the beginning of the video, honestly, I'm pretty jealous if you do. But anytime I personally look at it, I dread the day that we're going to get it. And also, I kind of am a little mad at SSO. They just kind of threw this info at us, and now when they got the feedback, they're not gonna do anything about it. The thing with SSO is they don't actually update the thing, and even if they do, it looks completely different. But for the most part, they say, oh, you're gonna get horse progression. And not only are we getting horse progression, we're also getting the new UI that nobody asked for, and they didn't say that we're gonna get it. We only got the information about it when we started seeing the videos of the testers that were showing us how everything's gonna look. So I think it's really unfair, to be honest. So I'm honestly so annoyed right now. I mean, obviously I'm not gonna stop playing, but this is just one of those things that SSO does. Like, they don't listen to the community and then they drastically change something, not for the better, and they change it to a thing that the majority of the community doesn't like. And then they're confused why people are so frustrated in the comments of their posts. I mean, obviously, I don't support harassment or saying like, I don't know, really bad things in the comments of SSO's posts. But at the same time, it is really hard to expect someone time and time again, literally every update and some other days, to be like, oh, SSO, I'm so sorry to be bothering you, but there's something that's been on my mind, or there's this glitch and this happened, and oh, this other glitch that has been in the game for so many months. There's only so much patience a person has until they just break and they, I don't know, write a whole entire essay in the comments of the posts that they make. And so I really don't blame the very critical people in the comments, and honestly I don't think SSO should either. And I guess this is kind of it for how the new UI is gonna look like. Again, I really don't like it, and if you do, that's completely alright, but I think the least they could do is make it more inclusive, because now they're really showing that they just don't care about people that can see well, don't have the best orientation, or just don't like it. Like, the majority of the community is telling them that they don't like it. I think the funniest thing with not only this, but also like the updated characters, the horse bonding mechanics, the horse progression, is that even when the most positive players post about it and the most positive like community members comment on their posts, they're like, oh, this is not my favorite, or oh, it's great but it's not my style, because obviously they still want to say it in a very positive way. But I think that when there's such a minority that actually likes the thing that you're making, you really have to question if you should even continue with this. But as I said in the beginning of the video, I'll just go through your comments now, and then I think I might go through some more comments and I'm just gonna read them through. I don't think I'm gonna comment on them because there's just so many things, and you know, when I start talking I just talk and talk and talk and talk, and I think by now it's pretty evident what my opinion is, so I don't think I have to like constantly keep repeating it. So anyway, someone said the UI looks like a UI for a mobile game. Yeah, okay, you can play SSO on mobile now, but it doesn't mean it needs to look like a mobile game. It's ugly and I'm really disappointed, and I'm not alone. Quite a few people also think it looks like a mobile game. And yes, the UI deserves an update, but not like this. Another person said, the new UI is so small, I feel like I need glasses. Changing it to big makes me feel like your parents or grandpa or something that have huge letters on their mobiles/iPad. I agree with you on the new UI. I hate it with a burning passion, and honestly, our current UI looks so much better. It looks more like SSO. In my opinion, many players will quit the game because of the UI update, including maybe me. I would not log on every day just to see that disgusting new UI. I really hope SSO listens to their community and will change it before the update will happen. That UI is so simplified, it actually feels even more confusing than the current one. The current one that is messy and full. It looks dull and depressing AF. Like, they really just had this color palette of blue and yellow since 2012 and chose that the best would be to change to gray. Bro, I can't. I honestly don't mind the new UI, I think it's pretty cool, other than the fact it's kinda mobilized. I absolutely hate the new UI. I hate the fact that they are moving things around and also making them tiny. I'm an adult player, over 50, and when they made the UI adjustable, they started it on the smallest one they had. Gave me such a headache trying to see it. I texted a friend to ask if it was just me, but she told me it was now adjustable. I, of course, have it on the largest setting. Why did they do this? If they're just going to change it again, that was stupid. I actually kind of like the new UI, just make it larger so it's easier to see. One thing I did notice is that it will totally change where your XP is, basically getting rid of the small bar on the bottom of the screen. IDK why people hate the new UI so much. I'm an older player and I've had 5 years of studies in design, and well, to me the new UI looks great and I don't think it looks too much like a phone game, and well, it's more clean, functional, clear and modern, so I only see positives. So far, I haven't seen any constructive criticism towards the new UI. All I see is it looks dumb, it looks bad, but there are no arguments to support it, so I suppose it's only nostalgia, but I don't think it's SSO's job to keep an outdated feature for nostalgia's sake. UI, it makes things less visible, it removes the player leveling bar, a slight bit of nostalgia. Weird to see how much the game has changed over the years. It has lost all its charm and style that has made it unique. The UI had so much original artwork, it's just sad to see that it's getting all replaced with the average minimalistic stylization that's in every other game nowadays. I really miss the old SSO art. As for the new UI, there has been a lot of negative feedback from what I've seen, as no one asked for an update. And it looks just too simple. Yet, even with all the player feedback, they didn't listen to a single thing yet. Looking forward to the new UI and horse progression, I agree that it looks like a mobile UI, which is disappointing, but I'm just happy to have a new look to the game. I'm not liking the UI, I'm just praying that we can choose which UI we want, cause I might just quit the game at some point after the update. Like, that's the UI I had in a Barbie Nintendo game over 10 years ago. Not to be too negative here, but I'm not a huge fan of the updated UI. I don't like how they changed how the map looks and made it in the top right corner, as well as it being unreasonably small no matter your screen size option. The UI being transparent is a huge problem, it being almost impossible to read and perhaps could affect colorblind, dyslexic, and sensory disabled players. Maybe being able to change the colors and the font of the UI could fix this. It sounds hypocritical how they scream and preach about diversity and consideration when they're not thinking about how this could affect some disabled players, and it hurts me a little, honestly. I don't like how the game looks more mobile. I never agreed with mobile SSO in the first place, and honestly, it seems more like they're aiming for this to be a mobile game more than a computer game, which in my opinion works more for the game itself. Honestly, they're not doing a good job on mobilizing it either with the joystick issue. The new chat is absolutely going to cause new problems. I don't like how they move the club, global, and say chat above the window. And there's practically no contrast with anything, making it impossible to see. The opacity is astronomical. The gates at the bottom of your screen are just downright aggravating. The same issues are for the training. I don't like how player/horse names aren't visible anymore unless you hover, and many people have shaky hands, be it natural or not, so the constant clicking and hovering features they're adding seems unnecessary for me at least. Oh, and don't get me started on the mouse. I can't stand it. It could be more confusing to newer players, and constantly switching to the player and horse sheet is kind of a hassle. I would get into the horse progression, but that's a focus on another post later. Lord have mercy upon my soul. It seems like I'll be using the hide UI feature a lot from now on. Maybe I'm just a salty nostalgic player, but the horseshoe menu was genius and cute since it's a horse game, and honestly pretty efficient. It seems inaccessible to me. I'm going blind and have light sensitivity among other issues. The UI is tiny. The horseshoe menu at least showed everything in front and said here, right here. The bright colors with no option of a dark mode, among the fact you have to hover over everything to see the stats, is just ridiculous to me. And before someone says, well, X game has minimal UI and it works wonders, I play Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rails among other games. I know a minimal UI thing about the games listed above. They have, if so, when you press ASC, you're given a hotkey menu that you can pick which things are hotkeyed. Say I want my items in Genshin Impact, all I need is to press ASC and press a spot on the wheel and I'm automatically taken to that screen. Also, one Star Stable signature things is the horseshoe menu. They could have at least changed the colors to fit the new style, or better yet, do what World of Warcraft did. World of Warcraft is older than SSO and hasn't had major changes SSO has. Has WoW changed as a game? Yes, of course, it's expanded and grown, just like SSO if not more. But while WoW has updated their graphics, they still have the WoW feel, and it still feels like playing the same game, just a little more refined years later. And they have updated their UI. Yes, they did just a few months ago, but it was still a welcome change people asked for years, for a movable UI they could change around, and hey, they got it, and it was cleaned up a bit, but it roughly was the same thing. Were some mad? Yes, but that's to be expected with a change. What shouldn't be expected is that SSO has a vast majority of their community against the new UI. Instead of giving people what you want to give the players, what they want, I have screaming for years for toggleable keybinds. If they want to update the UI so bad, add a classic mode, some that is the same or similar to the one that we have now. So yeah, honestly, after reading about all of this, I am kind of frustrated. I still don't like the new UI. If you like it, again, that's great, but I feel like, as this person and many others said, there's just a lot of inaccessibility here. And as they said, SSO really preaches a lot about inclusivity and all of that, but are they really that inclusive if they're going to exclude so many players with this new UI? I don't know, I guess it's debatable. But anyway, let me know what you think about the new UI in the comments down below. I hope you enjoyed as always, and I'm gonna see you in my next video. Bye!